We don't need a speaker who just wants to make money. We want a speaker who wants to make a difference. I repeat, we don't want a speaker who just wants to make money. We want a speaker who wants to make a difference. I've seen some people going around saying Mao joined the cabinet in order to improve his financial situation, that he was about to die of poverty. I grew up in poverty, it didn't kill me. If poverty did not kill me when I was in the village, will it kill me when now I have Bachelor of Laws, Master of Arts, and Master of Dispute Resolution, Diploma, Postgraduate in Legal Practice, Advocate for over 30 years? Will poverty kill me with all those qualifications? Yes, even that one. So, I think we should not reduce the debate about important questions to simple things. I was offered the job of minister in June 2021. Can a hungry person wait for 1 year to be paid his first salary as a minister? And you know it is not a small salary. So I want to warn those who are talking like that. I'm going to hang their record on MTN masts for the whole country to see this struggle. But I believe that it is important for me as president of the party to assure the members that those are just little storms in a teacup. The third purpose of this press conference is to share something about the legal battle that I'm also involved in. You know, one day I said that I'm like the knife for peeling matoke and potatoes. It is always full of sap. The Baganda say, akambe kawase, akatagwa komasanda. My journey is supposed to be uphill. Mine is never easy. And I've learned to live with that. I'll never have a downhill journey. So I want to say something briefly about the court case. In particular, how we are going to fight it. And number 4 is to give the context to the cause we are fighting. There's a lot of danger in thinking small. When you are thinking small, you can be easily discouraged. Ever since I became president of DP, I've always been encouraging the Democratic Party to think big. A political party has only one major purpose: to win the trust of the people in order to form the government. That is the purpose of the political party. And if you don't win the trust of the people to form the government, then it's your duty to influence what government does. If not, why then would you want to be a councillor? Why then would you want to be a member of parliament? you want to be a councillor, you want to be a member of parliament, in order to influence what government does. And influencing what government does affects the lives of the people, because politics is about the people. Forget about those who complicate politics. Politics is not complicated. Where people don't have clean water, as a councillor or as a member of parliament, you influence the budget so that provision is made for the people you represent to have clean water, or to have other amenities, or to have better health services, access to education, and better livelihoods. That's the essence of politics. That's why we are in politics. It's not about heckling each other. So, politicians should be judged by the extent to which they are able to better the lives of their people. So those are the 4 reasons why I have come to speak to the media today. Number 1, to reassure the country that I'm moving full speed to the finishing line. No stopping, no reducing speed. Number 2, to reassure the members of the Democratic Party and the leaders not to be distracted by some of the contradictions in the party. Number 3, to talk about the legal case. And number 4, to give the context. That's why we are here. So I'll start with the context. Right now, it looks like decent people have no space in politics. People think that to be a politician, you must be a liar and you must be a thief. You must be somebody who wants to organize goons to beat up your opponents. You must steal public funds to bribe voters. And then you must be a liar. That's not true. While preparing for this press conference, I made some notes. Many of you have read the book called Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe. Everybody knows that. The title of that book comes from a poem by an Irishman called W.B. Yeats. And I'll read for you the lines from which the title of that book was taken. Things fall apart, the center cannot hold. Mere anarchy is loosed upon the world. The blood-dimmed tide is loosed, and everywhere the ceremony of innocence is drowned. The best lack all conviction, while the worst are full of passionate intensity. My favorite passage is not the one of things fall apart. It is the last one. The best lack all conviction, while the worst are full of passionate intensity. Why is it that those who are doing bad things appear to be more energized than those who are doing good things? How can we motivate good people to get involved in the affairs of their country? Everywhere, the people who are being celebrated are basically the thugs. You find even the voters glorifying the thugs. In their conversation, they say, "Don't play with that candidate. He can kill you, man. You know, that one is not a joke. He can even kill you." Then they say, "That one has a lot of money. How can Mao even manage?" Why are we glorifying the worst? Because we glorify them, that's what gives them energy. We should deny them the oxygen. And we should motivate the best. So my stepping forward has made me just to be a symbol. And that is why the majority of those who are in support of my candidature normally are not people who support me, by the way. They have been the people who have been criticizing me. But because I'm standing for something they believe in, that we should clean up that parliament, we should fix it. So I'm carrying their flag. So when I'm carrying a flag, you don't follow me, you follow the flag. Because even if I fall, somebody else must pick the flag and continue that fight. So that is the whole context of this struggle we are in. Now, how did we reach this stage? It is important for us to understand how we got ourselves into this situation. Basically, we need to ask ourselves, what should be the precondition to establish a functional African state? A state which is based on the rule of law, based on a constitution which is respected, which is based on respect for human rights, and which is based on serving the ordinary people. What do we need to do? So as I deal with the issue of the context in which we are operating, I want to say, in our journey since independence, we are still trying to deal with what we call the national question. So what is the national question? The national question is the challenge of gluing together into one nation a diverse people. The British drew a border around us. They brought Bakonzo, the Sebei, Bagisu, Banyankole, Baganda, Lukbaras, Iteso. They brought all of us together. So when we talk about the national question is, what glue do you need to bring these diverse people together? That is what we call the national question. And every country must deal with its national question. Some countries even go to war. Sudan could not resolve the national question. They had to separate. Ethiopia battled with it until Eritrea left. Somalia is now dealing with the problem of Somaliland. You recently heard that Somaliland declared independence, and some countries have decided to recognize them. In Nigeria, the Union battled the national question. It split apart. Ukraine decided to go away. Georgia went away. So many, because it used to be called the USSR. It was the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. It became unsustainable because they could not resolve what we call the national question, which is basically how to be together. Tanzania is still grappling with the Tanganyika-Zanzibar question. Here in Uganda, some of us at one point had even toyed with the idea of a Nile Republic. You have the Balkans, Yugoslavia, split apart. So, whatever we do in politics, let's not lose sight of what we call the national question. In other words, there must be something which is larger than our individual interests. Because we have different cultures, we have different languages. But here we are, we must find a formula to stay together. And I doubt whether the political parties in Uganda actually debate the national question. Most of them concentrate on how to defeat their opponents. So resolving the national question is a precondition for establishing a true African state in Uganda. So as I discuss the context of our struggle, the number one question is the national question, which is very simple. Here we have grappled with it. In 1966, the Buganda Lukiko passed a resolution and said Dr. Bote should remove his government from the soil of Buganda. Why did that happen? Because we had not resolved the national question. They didn't have a sense of belonging. We have had situations where, after 1986, those of us who come from the north were being referred to as Anyanyas, basically as if we are from outer space. That is still a symptom of a failure to resolve the national question. So if we are looking for leaders, we must look for serious leaders who are not just treating symptoms. We must treat the cause of our problems. The second thing, which remains a challenge which a serious leader should address, is the long shadow of colonialism. I'm speaking a language which is not mine. I'm speaking English. I'm not even dressed the way the typical Acholi used to dress before the white man arrived. I now approach my food with a fork and a knife, which is not how my ancestors approached their food. And so on and so on. But above all, the biggest part of colonialism which we have to deal with is that we were handed formal independence, declared you are now free. You have a national anthem which you sing every time. You have a flag which you salute. You have a parliament which is even designed to look like the British Parliament. Is that really how Africans used to sit when they are debating important issues? That you have one side this way and one side that way? Is that really how you sit when you have a clan meeting? But somehow we adopted that. Then we say one side is opposition, and we even have a leader of opposition. Then we have one side which is supposed to be government. I don't remember us sitting like that in the village. When we were in the village, we used to sit in a circle. Because our role was to attack the problem, not to attack each other. So apart from resolving the national question, which is finding the proper glue to weld us together, we have the challenge of decolonization. we find that we basically cannot do anything as if we own our country. Even when you try to do a pipeline to take your oil, still you find some people coming to lecture you about what you are deciding to do. So, our plural societies were patched together, and those who patched us together still want to dictate how we run our affairs. I thought I should share those two important contextual issues. Everything else can fit into those two main challenges. We are here, we think we have internet, but all our data is stored by companies that are foreign owned actually. You get a remote control, but you don't own the satellites that are beaming these images that you enjoy. Soon we are even going to lose control over seeds. Our grandparents would keep the best stock of a harvest in order to plant again in the next season. Now we are being told that seeds will be made in a laboratory, and when you harvest what you have planted, for instance maize, you can't plant it again. It is barren. It is infertile. So when you are talking about leadership, you must first of all elect leaders who understand the problem. Because if you don't understand the problem, how can you even pretend that you want to solve it? And there are people who think there's no problem in the parliament the way it is. But there is hope, because Ugandans have woken up. For the first time, the hawkers, the women selling fruits and vegetables on the streets of Kampala, the border riders are now discussing the question of who is fit to be the Speaker of Parliament. They even want to vote. The good thing is that they will have an opportunity to punish the members of Parliament who will not vote correctly when we are electing the Speaker. So any member of Parliament who ignores the voices of the people right now will be punished in 2031. And that punishment will be sure. And we will be there to remind the voters that these are the people who betrayed you. We are at a very delicate time in Uganda, and we need a serious speaker. We don't need a speaker who just wants to make money. We want a speaker who wants to make a difference. I repeat, we don't want a speaker who just wants to make money. We want a speaker who wants to make a difference. I've seen some people going around saying Mao joined the cabinet in order to improve his financial situation, that he was about to die of poverty. I grew up in poverty. It didn't kill me. If poverty did not kill me when I was in the village, will it kill me when now I have Bachelor of Laws, Master of Arts, and Master of Dispute Resolution? diploma, postgraduate in legal practice, advocate for over 30 years. Will poverty kill me with all those qualifications?
Of course not.
Yes, even that one. So, I think we should not reduce the debate about important questions to simple things. I was offered the job of minister in June 2021. Can a hungry person wait for 1 year to be paid his first salary as a minister? And you know it is not a small salary. So I want to warn those who are talking like that. I'm going to hang their record on MTN masts for the whole country to see. Anybody who is attacking me stupidly, I'm going to get their full record and hang it on Colonial Hill. I will hang their records on Summit View indeed, so that everybody can know who they really are. I have my record. Starting from being a head prefect. In fact, starting from being an S2 student who by mistake in Wairaka College went to attend a senior debating society general meeting. I didn't know it was for A-levels. I put forward my candidature because I had made a persuasive speech. I was elected vice chairman. When they asked me, are you S5 arts or sciences? Then I said I'm in S2, and I was promptly dismissed. That is the shortest time I ever held an office. To the time when I was elected head prefect in Namilyango College. If we have anybody from Namilyango College, go to Namilyango and ask about Norbert Mao. One of the biggest problems we had in Namilyango College was indiscipline. Ask them what I did to ensure discipline. For instance, we had the A-level hostel. The senior 6 students used to sleep upstairs and the S5s were downstairs. I don't know what madness would possess the senior 6 students during exams. They would run around upstairs stampeding. Some would get a spoon or a knife and move with it along the railings, making a lot of noise for those downstairs. Others would even get something as heavy as a shot put and start rolling it upstairs. You feel as if a train is moving above you. When I was elected head prefect, I decided that that must stop. So I called the general meeting of the A-level students and told them that with effect from the next term, now that I was head prefect, the S5s would be upstairs and S6 would be downstairs. And that was that. They didn't like it. That night they broke my window and poured water from the toilet on my blanket. And then I was convinced I'd done the right thing. Sometimes when you are attacked, that means you are doing the right thing. I became the first head prefect to call a general assembly for the whole school. When we sounded the bell and called for a general assembly, the students thought the headmaster was the one going to address them. And then I stood before the whole school. And I told them, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for electing me. I've simply come to tell you that I'm not your mother and I'm not your father. I'm a student like you. And I also need to pass and go to university. I'm not going to run after you, and I'm not going to report you to the school administration. I'm going to deal with you personally. If it requires me to cane you, I will cane you instantly. And I did on many occasions. If it requires me to let you flatten an anthill there and then, you will do it. I remember I was heckled by one senior 6 student. There was an anthill near the assembly hall, and I promptly ordered that he should be taken to flatten it. So while the meeting continued, he was very busy bringing down the anthill. I reminded them that each of them had signed to obey the school regulations. So I asked anyone who had changed his mind and was no longer interested in following the school regulation to go and pack up and leave the school. I asked them whether they had been forced to sign. They said no one had forced them. That is my record. At Makerere University, against all odds, I was elected president of the Students' Guild. Up to now, those of you who are university graduates and were sponsored by the government should thank me, because because of the struggle I led. That's why there's still government sponsorship in public universities. And we lost 2 lives. Others were injured, including the late Speaker Jacob Olanya. We took a stand. But we were not extremists. We went on strike, but when the time for peace came, we also reached out. One day I picked the phone and called State House. Somebody picked the phone, asked me my name, I introduced myself. That person, you can ask her, she's still alive. The former UNRWA Executive Director, Allen Kajina. At that time, she was called Allen Kakuyu. She was the presidential assistant. I requested for a meeting with the president, which the president gave us. And I took a delegation of university students in December 1990. And we met the president for 4 hours. And we persuaded him to change government policy. I can fight, but I can also make peace. So this is not the first time I've reached out. I was 23 years old. Now there are those criticizing me for what I did when I was 55 years old. After university, I applied for a job to be a state attorney in the Ministry of Justice. I was denied the job because the interview panel thought my record was not so good, that probably by leading strikes I would not make a good public servant. You know the attitude of those who interview people for government jobs. But God can really crack jokes. Now I'm leading the ministry, which could not allow me to join it at the lowest professional level. Isn't that so ironical?
It is.
I could not qualify to be a mere state attorney. Then I come as the political head of the ministry. I hope that gives some sense of hope to those of you who are despairing. I didn't lose my temper because I knew that everything has its time. But that time only comes for those who are ready. Right now, I'm ready to be the Speaker of Parliament. I pity those who were not ready when they took that office. Now they are doing what is called okwekasa. Because if you are not ready for something, you have to keep justifying every mistake. And you can even see by the kind of decisions made from the chair. I don't have to go into details because I'll appear to be too critical. That seat does not just need a lawyer, it needs somebody who is an advocate. A lawyer is somebody who has studied law. An advocate is somebody who knows how to apply the law. That's the difference. I also understand the Bible, I understand scripture, but I'm not a priest. Because I don't have that ordination. An advocate is someone who is ordained to practice the law. In other words, you know how to apply it. And that is what the office of Speaker now needs. Not just somebody who knows the law. Because I hear people saying, oh, they are lawyers, they are lawyers. Yes, they are lawyers. They know the law. But they don't know how to apply it. And that's why we have all these blunders. So that is a major problem we have to deal with. So that is about context. And my record to prove that I know how to tackle real problems. I went to serve in Gulu at a time when nobody wanted to serve in Gulu. The Uganda Law Society opened a legal aid project. Nobody wanted to go to Gulu because there was a war. By about 5 p.m. people are running looking for where to hide. But that's where Norbert Mao was heading. I went and opened the first ever Uganda Law Society Legal Aid Project Office for Northern Uganda. I was the advocate, I was the sweeper, I was the messenger, I was the secretary. I established that office. It is still there up to today. I was a lawyer for the poor, the widows and orphans. I laid that foundation. And it is on that basis that I believe I won the trust of the people and got elected as a member of parliament. I was just about to turn 29. That contest pitted me against a member of the cabinet, a minister. Then I went to be the chairman of the district. I found a district headquarters which was unfinished for years. In a short time, I finished it. We even got wireless internet for that office. With the help of the senior pastor of Watoto Church, we brought city planners from Australia. You have been seeing on social media how Gulu is beautiful. It is not by accident. They helped us to plan the suburbs, and with some government money through Japanese grants, we planned that city. Why did we have to plan the city? Because the government had ordered us to close the IDP camps. I called my leadership team and I told them, the government thinks that people are going to go to the villages, but I don't think anybody is going to go to the village. The majority will camp in town. And we are going to end up with slums, and that will be a disaster if we intend to be a city in future. So to avoid slums, we needed to plan better. The 11 city planners from Australia helped us somehow to plan the suburbs. And then we started protecting wetlands. I remember I had a big collision with the lady who owns Nakumat. She wanted to build in a wetland. And as usual in Uganda, you know, people come to give you advice. Please don't disturb that one. She's very close to the president. She's close to General Ronda. She's close to General who. And I said, well, I'm a lawyer. Laws are not suggestions. When there's a law, I know I have to obey it. So, I politely told her, Madam, you have to stop what you are doing. If you want to build on a wetland, number one, you must comply with the laws of environment. She left. It was not personal. That's why afterwards, when we needed an investor to build a sugar factory in Atiak, I went to the same person and told her, you know what? Let's have another conversation now. We need an investor. And she came back. So these fights we are on are not personal fights. I have nothing personal against any of the people that I'm criticizing. I'm just saying we must put Uganda first. I was the only DP councillor together with another one. We were 2 councillors who were DP in a council of 37 members. You never heard of conflict in Gulu district when I was chairman. When the municipal council had confusion, we applied the law and packed their leadership for 1 year. You know, the Local Government Act allows a higher local government to take over the powers of a lower local government. I think Gulu district became the first ever local government to exercise that power. So we exercised that power and told the mayor and his council, please park until further notice. You need to learn how to drive first. Then you bring you back on the road. So we sent people to manage the affairs of the municipal council for 1 year. While chairman, I used to get calls from Joseph Kony, the rebel leader. Some of you remember that I was even a suspect of being a rebel. But I wasn't the one calling him, he was the one calling me. And each time he would call me, I would go and brief the president. I would call the switchboard because I knew they were listening to my phone anyway. Yes. At one point, they suspected that I was a rebel. The military intelligence people sent somebody to trail me. I was doing some work at the Sheraton Business Center. When I went to the bathroom to ease myself, I found my flash disk missing. They got the contents and leaked it to the red paper. And the headline was, Gulu District Boss Norbert Mao in trouble over rebel links. So who knew that I had rebel links? And they reproduced some information that I had on some people who wanted to start a new rebel group. But the head of the military intelligence was my classmate. So I called him, General Mujira. He just laughed and he gave me an appointment. When I went to his office, he opened his drawer and gave me back my flash disk. But they knew I was committed to peace. When other people were fearing to go to the bushes of Garamba to meet Joseph Kony, I dared. When we went to have a meeting with him, he invited 10 of us to go to the bush. We walked 16 miles to go and see him. Some of my crew. And then I jumped into the battle so that our generation, born in the 60s and 70s, could take charge of the Democratic Party. I became a member of DP in 1989. I was not a leader. I only became a leader in DP nationally in 2008. You calculate from 1989 up to 2008. I was just a member and a supporter. But now, people join today, tomorrow they want to be president of the party. That's why the other day when we threw out somebody who wanted to be president of the party, we said, you know, you must use the constitution. So we do believe very strongly that a person's track record matters. I've shared with you my track record because I see a lot of people who don't know me trying to talk about Norbert Mao, but you don't know me. People who are not even fit to untie my shoelaces are now commenting about me. So this race for Speaker requires us to debate the real national challenges, how to unify our country. And that brings me to the conversations that we had in Chankwanzi. Chankwanzi was very good because it embarrassed those who thought that there was going to be any ring fencing from Chankwanzi. So those who had that idea, they beat the dust. They thought there would be a ring fence. True, I'm not a member of the National Resistance Movement, but I challenge the National Resistance Movement that out of your millions and millions of members, you can't find somebody better than somebody who has messed up Parliament. Are you so poor? It doesn't have to be me. But I also told them that now that we have this cooperation agreement, which under Article 7 allows us to introduce new areas of cooperation. And we are proposing that the speakership becomes a new area of cooperation. We are actually acting within the cooperation agreement. That is to be discussed. It requires agreement. If our partners don't agree, that's okay. But you cannot say, I'm not even going to discuss it. Instead, you find people saying, stay in the compound, don't enter the bedroom. The last time, the Prime Minister was in Chotera, and she said that NRM had married DP. Which marriage remains in the compound? If you are married, marriage means full access. They were proudly saying, aba DP twabawasa sibe bagamba. Kati wembanga muli mbufumbo. Ebyobufumbo bigwera mu lujja oba bigenda ne mu kisenge. Ebyobufumbo bigenda buli wamu. Toyinza gamba nti tuli bafumbo naye tujja kusigala mu lujja. Obwo tebuba bufumbo. So, as it were, they are the ones who said they had married us. Then they are the ones who are now saying, don't come to the bedroom. I think that is a bit problematic. So Chankwanzi worked because members of NRM put a lot of pressure on their party not to ring fence the position of Speaker. And that's why the President has freed the members of Parliament to vote for a Speaker for the 12th Parliament. The only thing that the members of NRM need is freedom to vote for a Speaker who is qualified and suitable for the 12th Parliament, which is going to be the Parliament to deal with serious challenges, including transition. Including the issues of national dialogue, including national reconciliation, transitional justice. So We do not want a speaker who says, I'm a good speaker because as long as there is a remote control, there will be somebody pressing buttons and I'll just be moving as required. A speaker is not there for himself or herself. A speaker is there for the members of parliament and the people of Uganda. Because that house belongs to the people. So I am now calling upon the citizens of Uganda, please start calling your members of parliament and advise them that you will be waiting in 2031. Right now, they are abusing the citizens of Uganda because my rating has not gone below 70% among the general public. Even if you go now to that garage, you the media, just go to the garage and ask them, who would you vote for speaker? They will tell you Norbert Mao. But these are the people who voted for those MPs who are now abusing them. The Baganda say, omukadde akwatira ku mmere ye. That will be in 2031. For now, they have forgotten who sent them to parliament. So every new member of parliament, every member of the 12th parliament should ask one question. What do my voters want? Lastly, the most important thing that came out of Chankwanze is that finally the president has repeated that adui number one is corruption. So, if you have someone who has been identified with corruption, it only means that that person will attract also the corrupt. The president went further by even calling out Honorable Sise Namuju, who is one of the top campaigners of the incumbent speaker, and asked her, how many days did you spend in prison? And said, you know, this one I arrested her. But now she's my friend because she has given me information about other thieves who I'm now going to tackle. What message does that send to you? So if you say you are fighting malaria, can you be a friend to mosquitoes? Also, if there is somebody with a stench of corruption, you know, a stench will attract flies. And if you, however much you spray the flies, the only way to get rid of them is to remove the stench and throw it away. The flies will follow it wherever it will go. This is what I witnessed in Chankwanze, and I repeat, this is really not so much about me. That's why I'm rather relaxed, because I'm not very desperate. There are those who are saying that Mao is using this to bargain for a bigger position. Being a minister is a very big position. But also, a minister serves the president. I don't do my job. I do the president's job as a minister. As a matter of fact, on the 12th, we are handing over to the permanent secretary. All ministers are handing over to the permanent secretary. And then you wait for the president to form his government, because he's the one who has executive power. So why do people talk as if they must die in a particular position? It is up to the president to decide. For me, I'll remain member of parliament elect. As member of parliament elect, I'm ready for anything. Because appointments to the cabinet are a prerogative of the president. He is the one to decide who he wants to assign what position. But I think he saw in me something, and that's why he kept that position vacant for 1 year. let me end on the context there. Briefly, the question of the Democratic Party contradictions. Many people are disturbed that the Vice President of the party is critical of my candidature and that the Secretary General is an active campaigner of the incumbent Speaker. That doesn't bother me one bit. So I want to tell the members of the Democratic Party, this is something which has a timeline. The question is, what is the principle at stake? Some people think I should be annoyed. I'm not annoyed. I would not be where I am if I were to be easily annoyed. But you must also exercise that power with restraint. The other day, some UID members were saying they don't want to see those two gentlemen near the party headquarters. And I told them, why not? They are leaders. Let them come. So I want to appeal for restraint on the part of members who are disappointed. For me, I'm always very, very loyal to any DP who expresses an ambition. In 2021, one of our members, Honorable Sebamala, declared that he was going to contest for Speaker. I even convened a press conference to support his candidature. Unfortunately, he withdrew. I'm always happy when I see DP members stepping forward, because we must celebrate not just achievement but even effort. Our Secretary General has had a long journey in the party. He stood for Youth MP, we were with him. He stood in Palisa, we were with him. He stood in Mbale municipality, we were with him. He stood in for Iyala. Within the party, the contest was very hot. He won by 2 votes. And I was there fighting for him. Now, the Bible says, do unto others as you have them do unto you.
And you are a permanent person in the parliament.
So, for me, I don't do unto you as you do unto me. I do as Jesus directs me. I must do good. The campaign for the flag of Iyala was hot. Even for the vice president, it was not easy. There were people who even tried to sabotage the election in parliament. So there are many party members who are very disappointed with them because they see that I don't deserve that treatment from people I've stood with. But I'm asking you, leave God to be the one to balance the books. By the way, God balances books. I've seen it in my own life. So don't make it a big deal. But I also know that they must be under a lot of pressure. Right now I see a group of young people calling themselves DP at heart. Suddenly they have a lot of money. So I think they have also managed to access. They have become a kind of Luseke team also. I think they have put their Luseke somewhere. Unfortunately, I wish they knew that Luseke eventually dries up. So I see them running around at DP at heart, DP at heart. Do they even know what DP values are? Why are they not talking to the DP members? There are those who are saying, Mao is very selfish. He got himself a ministerial position. He has forgotten everybody else. I want to say, the offer for the ministerial position was to me personally. But being president of DP, I'm the one who brought DP in. Is that the action of a selfish person? I came to ask my DP family, and I said, I think this is good for us. By some luck, we got the president to agree to sign a cooperation agreement, which I distributed in Chankwanzi. And it opened the eyes of those MPs. They saw my signature next to the president's signature. Someone who has never signed any agreement with a civilian. So the agreement has its own life. Remove Mao from it even. The agreement is talking about a peaceful transition, national reconciliation, national dialogue, constitutional reforms. Even if I drop dead today, will those issues die with me? So I think people really should get serious. I invite more attacks on me. It is good. Those who want to insult me, insult my mother, my father, everybody, please go ahead. But don't forget to address the issues that are facing Uganda. Because those issues will come for you also, wherever you are. If you don't handle them well, those issues will come for you. So I want to urge the DP members to understand. This is normal in political parties. Others are saying this is betrayal. I will not use the word betrayal. I just say I'm a student of human nature and I know how people get motivated. In the case of the vice president in 2020, one day I woke up and he had made a big banner of himself with Bubi wine in Masaka City. And he told me that that is how he will win the parliamentary seat. So I told him, good luck. Please go ahead. We shall see. If you think it will work. Unfortunately, it didn't work. Because when Bubi wine went there, Bubi wine attacked him so badly. So what did it benefit? Then this time, he at first was not in favor of the cooperation agreement. He attacked it and said we should pull out of it. Then when we were selecting parliamentary candidates, he then announced that because he is a kind of Attorney General of the Banyarwanda community, now he is going in a place which has a large Banyarwanda community, Buwekula, and that he believes he will now win, and in fact the cooperation agreement will help him win. So I said, please go ahead. I'm fully behind you. I had even planned to go and campaign for him. Unfortunately, I also had my own problems in Gulu, so I didn't go. And he had some good campaign. Unfortunately, when the results came, he was the last. So, the Bible teaches us to always pray for our lost brethren. So I can only call for prayers. DP members, please pray. But also the young people, learn. Because in DP, I've seen people who have attacked me. You know how people like the Segonars ended. Mwanga Chivumbi, Michael Mavike, Chidandala, Sam Mukaku, who even declared himself. So if those cannot be enough lesson, please don't learn from your own mistakes. Learn from other people's mistakes. I try to learn from other people's mistakes. And let me tell you, when Dr. Semogere was president, there are people who really fought him. And they wanted to co-opt me to join that group. I told them, I wish you luck in your fight. But as far as I know, I may have disagreement with Dr. Semogere. But under the party constitution is the party president. Let us work through party organs. Even when I went to Nambole and I was beaten in an election which was less than free and less than fair, I still faithfully became the campaign manager of Sevana Kizito. When those who helped defeat me, who pretended that they were Sevana Kizito, namely Lulu Mebaiga, Betty Namboze, and others, they abandoned Sevana Kizito and went with Dr. Besigye. So, in life, you have those they call fair weather friends. When the sun is shining, they are your friends. When it starts raining, they don't want to know your condition. I have been through that. But you saw what happened in Busiro East. You have seen what has happened in Butambala. In Mukono, this lady survived, but all her feathers are flying in the air. They really scratched her. They plucked her feathers. So, start a fight which is backed by some cause which is genuine. Now, in this case, what is the genuine cause? That a DP member finds that the incumbent speaker is better than his president. And yet his president is fighting corruption in parliament. Now you want to support the flag bearer of corruption. For us, we are trying to drain the swamp. So, I appeal to the DP members, don't cry for me, because I get calls. I get calls from DP members. Mr. President, why are your comrades behaving like that? Why are they going all over the media and attacking you? Why? You are the person who has been solidly with them. I tell them, leave them. Don't interfere. My two comrades, they still remain my comrades. I love them and I'll always fight for them. No matter what they do. I'll always fight for them. Because I remember when the late Nsubuga died, the current Secretary General was the Deputy Secretary General. And there were already plots to throw him out. And being a master of politics, being a master of driving on all roads, smooth and rough, I declared that we would have mourning for 1 year. So I insulated him from an election. And we kept extending the period until the delegates conference. Because I believe in defending the weak. So that is my character. I want those who genuinely follow me, don't overreact because of those statements. I know some of you get annoyed when you see the Secretary General all over the current speaker, or you see your vice president. Don't be agitated. Fortunately now, the incumbent speaker has many more people now around her. I think the space is getting a bit crowded because I've seen now the new woman MP for Masaka City has now taken that space. She has occupied it permanently. So now I think there's a lot of competition. But the election of speaker is going to take place in about 1 month. So then what? Because it will come and go. You must now come back home here and we start talking about DP. Let us focus our energy on the next meeting which we have scheduled Let us focus our energy on getting good candidates for LC1 and LC2. And let us continue building new young leaders of the party. Now, thirdly is the legal challenge. When that legal challenge came, I was not surprised because I had heard that they were looking for somebody to petition. Basically, I think it is a pay-as-you-go kind of situation. Now, yesterday I heard that the petitioner went to ask for more time. That he has looked for me and cannot find me. A minister of justice who cannot be found. This is really interesting. I have a home which can be found. A home which is so well known because we have been holding parties for musicians there. We have been holding all sorts of events. I think the fellow simply is not fighting because he has a cause. Like I said, there is someone else behind the case. He's on a remote control. Unfortunately, the people on the ground are not happy with him. As I talk now, his Kafunda is really suffering because he has a certain business premise. He used to host what is called corporate night. Now it has collapsed because the people have decided that really you can't descend that low. But more interestingly, he is a candidate of the NRM, who was number 3. As a lawyer and Minister of Justice, I cannot comment on a case which is in court, but I was a bit surprised. I found that he has not even served the Electoral Commission. The Electoral Commission has a registry where everybody who has filed a case against it can go and serve it. So, is that case really about the election or it is about something else? I heard a rumor that some people think that if you have a case against you, you should not be allowed to contest for speaker. Now that's not the law. Otherwise Nalukola wouldn't have remained in parliament up to the end because he lost his case even. So a person who has not even served the Electoral Commission now claims he cannot find me. Also, he knew that I was in Chankwanzi. The whole world knew that I was in Chankwanzi. So why didn't he come to Chankwanzi to serve me? Because for sure those at the gate would have allowed him. So I think this case is not about the election in Gulu City. This case is about something else. It is about this kind of politics. But I want to assure you that I've engaged lawyers. And today, I want to announce the creation of a Norbert Mao Legal Defense Fund. And I'm appealing for support to fight this case because these are people who think they can bribe anybody, including judges. So we are also going to have to raise funds to fight back. Because in any war, you need guns and ammunition. You need some kind of weapon. Even David had to have his sling and the 5 stones. He needed only 1, but at least he had 5. So I am launching a legal defense fund to support my fight in court. Because this fight is not mine, it is for Ugandans. Because I'm being fought because I've challenged the bastion of corruption. because I have attacked the bastion of thievery. That's why if I had not declared that I'm contesting for Speaker, there wouldn't have been a petition, because there's no basis for a petition. We know how we won. We won because we campaigned hard, we had a better message, and I'm not a new person in that area. So we have established an organization called Friends of Mao. The Friends of Mao has a bank account. So we are going to publish the bank accounts. We are also going to publish the merchant codes for both MTN and Airtel, so that we can raise the funds to fight the case. I know we are going to raise a lot of money, and we will fight and we will win, and any balance we shall give to charity, because I know there will be a big balance, because everybody will want to protect Mao, not for the sake of Mao, but for the sake of the cause I stand for. So by tomorrow, we shall be putting on all platforms how Ugandans can contribute to this fight. Already you can see on social media, we have so many volunteers. While others are spending a lot of money, me, I have volunteers who are fighting for me, because they know they are fighting for themselves. This is the chance of Ugandans to take charge of the parliament, so that the parliament can be an instrument for uniting Uganda. And that is why I'm confident that we shall win that fight. We were disappointed, of course, that the court allowed him that application that he made. The court actually never even interrogated him. How can somebody who has not even served the Electoral Commission claim that they have not got Mao? Ya family. Oina kusooka kubuuza, head of the family akolera family. Head of the family waba akolera family. Abamukolera tebaba na buzibu. Kati kiri erifa Abannayuganda okulaba nga head of the family aweereza family yonna. Mukulaba kwange yasazeewo n'agamba nti ekirwadde ekiremesa parliament okukolera Abannayuganda, ekirwadde bakiyita sinanguzi, obubbi, obukumpanya n'obulyake. Ekyo kye kizibu ekiri mu parliament. Kati tulina okunoonya eddagala erisobola okumalawo obulwadde obwo. Kati ekibuuzo eri mu mikono gya ababaka bagenda okulonda sipiika kiri nti, ani ayinza okukulembera parliament okulwanisa obubbi n'obulyake? Kati gwogamba waliwo obutakanya wakati w'ebintu Abannayuganda bye baagala nga family n'ebintu omukulembeze w'eggwanga nga head of the family byayagala. Gaapu eyo mu kulaba kwange ntono nnyo. Ebintu ebisinga omukulembeze w'eggwanga byakulembeza n'Abannayuganda bye bakulembeza bikwatagana. Biri bisatu byokka: livelihood, abantu okubeera n'obulamu obweyagaza. Ekyokubiri, okusoma kitegeeza abantu babeere n'obumanyirivu, bafune obusobozi obwekolera emirimu gyabwe. Ekyokusatu, ebyobulamu, health, livelihood, education, health. Ebyo bye bintu ebisatu Abannayuganda bye baagala. Kati wobeera speaker, obeera nga referee. Kati twetaaga referee omutuufu. Oli waayingira ekisaawe ng'alina emisumaali wansi w'engato ze. Refu n'agamba nti emisumaali sigirabye, zannya, ng'ogenda okosa banno. Oyo taba referee mutuufu. Referee wabanga agaba red card, oli alumba munne ne tebamuwa red card, ate ono n'alumba ne bamuwa red card. Oyo referee taba mutuufu. Kati president w'eggwanga abeera nga team manager, ya managing a team. Naye nga mu kulaba kwange mu parliament tubeera ne sides ezo ebbiri. Nze siyinza kulwanisa Abannayuganda bye baagala. Ky'oba olaba nti nze nkulembeza kyakuteesa. Bwe tubanga tulina ensonga nga waliwo obutakaanya wakati w'ababaka ba parliament ne cabinet oba president w'eggwanga, afazaali tuteekawo kye nayise era nakitadde mu buwandiike, a caucus of the whole house. Kati ennaku zino tulina caucus ya NRM ya majority, naye twetaaga caucus ya family yonna. Kabewa NRM, DP, NUP, FDC, UPC ani tubeere ne caucus of the whole house. Kubanga waliwo ekirwadde kiri kye nayise the national question. Tebereza abazungu bateekawo olukomera ne bagamba nti Abaganda, Abanyola, Abanyankole, Abakyoli, Bakalamojja, Basoga, Bagisu, kati tubayita Bannayuganda. Oba mwagala oba temwagala. Era olusalosalo lwe luno wakati wammwe ne Sudaani ne Congo tewali yajjuza foomu, tewali ggwanga eryajjuza foomu okubeera Bannayuganda. N'olwekyo nsuubira president ekyo kyaliko, naye abasinga tebakitegedde. Bano b'ofonopondo bamala googera. Oli musaabaze tomanyi bifa wali maaso awali steering, omala googera. Bandiyambye eggwanga ne basirika, kubanga mu myaka gino 5 twagala okwegatta ng'Abannayuganda tulwanise ebizibu bye tulina ng'eggwanga, tuleme kwekutulakutulamu. Era twetaaga omuntu alina spirit eyo egatta abantu. So omuntu alina spirit eno egamba gwe sigala mu lujja, gweyingira mu ddiiro, naye tojja kuyingira mu kisenge. Abantu aboogera bwe batyo be balemesa omukulembeze w'eggwanga ate okugatta eggwanga, kubanga aleeta obusosoze mu maka. Naye tulina okukulembeza Abannayuganda bye beetaaga. Ekyo kye twandiise the parliament we want. Yes, sir. Ntandikira ku ababadde bampandiikirako ebintu ku mikutu egy'enjawulo egya social media. Bangi babatuukiridde nga babatiisatiisa ti lwaki muwagira Mao. mujja kufuna ebizibu. Abamu babaguze n'okubagula. Wano ku simu yange ninako omuntu omu eyabadde anjogerera ate nga simumanyi na kumumanya, naye oluvannyuma namunoonyerezaako nga maze okutegeera nti baamutuukirira ne bamutiisatiisa ne bamuwa miliyoni 2 era ne ID ya mobile money njirina. Kitegeeza nti nze okwesowolayo mu bangi nenyimirira ne ngamba nti nja kwesimbawo ku bwa sipiika. Kinyenyeza ekitebe ky'enguzi. Kati abakulembera ekitebe ky'enguzi bakankana. Kati bakozesa kintu kimu kyokka kye balina, sente, kubanga tebalina mazima. Ekisigadde kutiisatiisa bantu. Kati buli ali ku social media ng'agamba tuwagire Mao ku bwa sipiika, bamutuukirira, bamutiisatiisa, ekyo we kirema nga bagamba katukuwe sente. Nange kennyini mbadde ekyankwanzi nga nfuna amasimu ng'abantu baŋŋamba nti weegendereze, waliwo be baawadde obutwa, bagenda kutega katwa ofe, bayinza n'okusiiga obutwa ku sowaani eri ku palamenti, mu restaurant ya palamenti. Wentuuka bagamba nti walidde emmere nga ogi odarinze kuva mu fumbiro, tiye tojja kuzuukuka enkya, wandiridde bufe. N'olwekyo eyo embeera sobola kugigumira. Bwe twali mu palamenti, nga bwe tuva mu palamenti tutuula wamu n'abantu abamu be tutakaanya nabo, tulya ne tunywa, ne sipiika nga alina restaurant ye n'akabaala ke. Bw'abanga alina ensonga gy'ayagala okubuulira, akuyita n'agamba nti gwe Mao, engeri gye wayogeddemu mu palamenti saagyagadde, olulala oterezangamu. Eyo ye relationship gye twalina mu palamenti nga tewali kutya. Naye embeera gye tulimu kati, abantu bonna bali mu kutya, tibajja kuwa obutwa. Abantu abakolera bajja kubawa obutwa babukuliise oba bajja kubagulirira. Embeera eyo sijagalira ddala. Afazaali nfa ne ŋŋenda Uganda yammwe nengibalekera mugyeyagaliremu, kubanga saagala kubeera mu kutya. Katonda ampadde emyaka gino 59, naye tutereze eggwanga lyaffe. Gwani alowooza nti ekifo Katonda yakitondera gwe, nga buli akyagala olina kumulwana. Ne ku kifo kya palamenti twagala kuvuganyizibwa, okozesa amakooti okugoba abantu, abantu bafulumiza ku lukalala lw'abalonzi, ojje nga tovuganyizibwa. Eyo embeera tetusobola kugigumira. N'olwekyo njagala kugumya Abannayuganda, lino eggwanga lyaffe. Tetusobola kukkiriza muntu omu kutuvuluga. Tulina okuyimirira nga tumanyi nti lino eggwanga lyaffe. Abamu tujja kufa, naye Uganda tegenda kufa. Uganda egenda kusigalawo kasita tuba nga tuli b'amazima. Kuba nze nkooye okuwulira abantu abambuulira amasimu, batandise okutuukirira abalogo bakuloge. Si gwe gusoose. We nali eggulu mu kalulu ka palamenti 2 twagenda okuyingira ofiisi nga waliwo ataddewo omutwe gw'enkoko nga kuliko gundi omutwe bagusibyeko ensimbi ku nsingo, ng'abantu bonna abaali mu kampeyini yange batidde, tebaagala na kugulawo ofiisi. Bwe natuuka ne bagamba sebo tosembera, naye nze ekintu nakisamba busambi ne kigenda eri. Ndowooza baalinda okulaba nga nemala wange alaba nti waabadde kati wazibu, bayinza okumunoonyerezaako kati alina kudduka budusi kubanga ekifo kifuuse nga crime scene kati bw'obeera ng'oli mu crime scene toyinza kusigalawo bajja kusanga bakubuuze era ekyo ndowooza yakyogedde olw'akazito ke tutaddewo era ffe n'abannayuganda abakkiriza mu nsonga ze tuyimiriddeko tulina okwongera amaanyi teri kuzikiza NRM yeyina omupiira be balina okusalawo naye balina okumanya nti ekizibu ekiri mu palamenti obulyake n'enguzi kati toyinza gamba nti ensowera ezikuŋŋaanya awali ekivundu zijja kuvaawo nga zogoba ne woozifuuyirira olina okugyawo ekivundu n'ensowera zijja genda ogwo gwe mulimo gwe tulina okukola nga tulonda sipiika ate tewabaawo ensonga eno nti tulina kunoonyawo NRM wuuyo tugenze paka Ethiopia tuleese omuzeeyi eyali akolera Ethiopian Airlines akulembere Uganda Airlines si munnayuganda naye lwakuba mu Africa kati lwaki toleeta Mao atali wa NRM naye nga akolagana ne NRM ayina n'enkolagana eri mu buwandiike atereze parliament kubanga ekibuuzo kiri kimu kyokka ani ayinza okukulembera parliament okuyambako okulwanisa enguzi mu ggwanga lyaffe tulina okunoonya omuntu asobola okukola omulimu ogwo tuve ku kino ekyokugamba nti olina kusooka kulaga kaadi ya NRM mbadde wavunaanyizibwa nga minisita wa justice emirimu gye tukoze girabika ne rekodi yange eri clear n'ekibuga kya Gulu esinga ne Kampala obuyonjo ffe twasobola okuplaningira Gulu twaleeta abantu okuva e Australia ne baplaninga Gulu okubeera nga ye city esinga okubeera plan omutali ghetto yadde n'emu kubanga twakikola tukigenderedde nina rekodi yange nga MP nina rekodi yange ng'omuntu alwaniridde emirembe mu ggwanga ogenda mpaka mu nsiko ne Minister of Justice kati ekizimbe kyaffe twakimaliriza tulina Gulu kino ekya parliament kikwamidde mu kkubo myaka egisukka mu 10 tegiyinza kuggwa naye projects z'abakulembeze ba parliament zo zigenda mu maaso naye projects za parliament tezigenda mu maaso ekyo kiraga ki tusobodde okugulawo amakooti era tugenda kubeera ne high court mu buli district magistrates court mu buli constituency tuyisize etteeka era etteeka twatandika okulyogerako etteeka lya copyright abayimbi ne ba artists abalala abawandiisi b'ebitabo ba comedian baani basobole okulya mu ntuuyo zaabwe etteeka twatandika 2023 era nze nakyaza abo bakenzo basindi bashiba n'abalala tusobole okutambuza etteeka eryo awo ng'ogamba ndi Mao talina kyakoze tuleese ne police eya ADR abantu abandigenze mu kooti maaso g'omulamuzi basobole okuteesa bakanye egyo emirimu gyonna tugikoze n'olwekyo tutunuulire rekodi y'omuntu ali mu ntebe kati mutunuulire ne rekodi yange twetaaga lawyer naye nga lawyer nga advocate kitegeeza amanyi engeri gy'oteekamu amateeka mu nkola okubeera lawyer kitegeeza omanyi amateeka naye tosobola gateeka mu nkola ekyo kye kituleetera n'ebizibu oluusi oli bw'atuula mu ntebe ebintu bimubuzaabuza kubanga abimanyi naye tabitegeera waliwo okumanya n'okutegeera awo wewali obuzibu kati tulina kwebuuza nti mu bamemba ba NRM miliyoni na miliyoni tebayinza kufunayo omulala asobola okwesimbawo bwe baba nga tebaagala atali wa NRM ekyo kye kibuuzo kye tulina naye kasita president w'eggwanga amaze okusonga abantu bwe bagina okulaga ne gye balina obutagenda, yagamba nti awali enguzi temugendayo, awatali nguzi gye mba mugenda. Ekyo yamala dde okukyogera. Nze mu kulaba kwange tulina ekigezo ky'amaanyi nnyo naye tugenda kukiyita. Nze siina kubuusabuusa kwonna nti mu wiiki zino ezisigadde tetugenda kuzikiza, tugenda kubanga twogera n'ababaka omu ku omu nga tubannyonnyola biki bye tuyinza okutereza mu palamenti. Palamenti ebeere ng'eweereza Abannayuganda. Ndowooza nsobodde okwanukula. Yesebo. Njagala kugumya banna-DP mu buli kibiina mubeeramu obutakaanya wakati w'abakulembeze ab'oku ntikko. Baganda bange Vice President ne Secretary General nze mbabeereddewo nnyo, ndowooza kyo kyekireetedde bammemba abamu okunyiiga ne bagamba nti omuntu ababeereddewo ennyo lwaki ate mumwambalira ne mumulwanisa ate nga temuli na balonzi eri mu palamenti. Nze manyi nti mu weeks 5 kino ekintu tujja kuba tukigusiza, naye nga banna-DP abanyiivu olw'okubanga abakulembeze bannange banvuddemu nabo mbategeera, naye njagala kubagamba nti bino ebintu bibeerawo tomanya. Naye nze nga Norbert Mao ndi mugumu kubanga nze nsoma Bayibuli era ngoberera Mukama waffe Yesu Kristo bye yatuyigiriza nti oli akola obubi weina okumukolera ebirungi byokka. N'olwekyo nze nabasonyiwa dda era kyemmanyi mwe abannamawulire kino ekintu mwe mwagala ennyo okukikumamu omuliro buli kaseera kubanga mwagala ebyonoonese. Ebitonoonese temubyagala era na bino bye mumbuuza mu bitambuze. Kati ate oluva wano mubanoonye nti Mao yabadde ku press conference n'ayogera bino, kati gwe mwogera biki? Kubanga ogwo gwe mulimo gwammwe. Naye nga bano abakulembeze nkoze kinene nnyo okubazimba era ekyo kye kireetedde banna-DP abamu okunyiiga. Vice President tutambudde naye eyesimbawo Makindye, Masaka Municipality emirundi 2, Masaka City n'agende Kalungu, kati asibidde Buweekula. Yasooka n'alwanisa cooperation agreement, oluvannyuma n'agamba nti engeri gy'ali Ssaabawolereza w'Abanyarwanda mu Uganda ndowooza waneesimbawo Buweekula awali Abanyarwanda abangi asobola okuyitawo, naye we byagwera ng'ate ye yasemba. N'olwekyo tulina okumanya nti wabeerawo pressures ezijja mu bulamu bw'abantu, naye omuntu yenna ow'obuvunaanyizibwa olina okumanya nti buli ekikutuukako tosooka kunenya muntu mulala, olina kusooka kwefumiitiriza. Nze wengwa akalulu sangu nnyo kunenya muntu yenna nti ono yansudde oba ndi bubi kubanga oli ali bulungi. Eyo si yenkola yange. Twali wano twamusindika mu Yala myaka 10 ng'akiikirira Uganda. Tetwayogera na kwogera nti ate ffe Secretary General wano okubeera flag bearer mu kalulu ka iyala yayitawo no obululu bubiri namuteerawo omugongo okufuuka secretary general nga Matiya Nsubuga afudde nagenda mu kuziika n'ennangirira nti tugenda kungubaga mwaka mulamba omwaka ogumu ne gufuuka emyaka 2 3 paka ne tugenda mu delegates conference eyo gye twamulondera. Ekyo ndowooza kye kinyiiza abanna DP ne bagamba nti lwaki temumala gasirika kati wosirika ofiirwa ki? Toyina kalulu mu palamenti ogamba nti tebakwebuuzizaako. Bino ebintu tulina okusanyukira buli avaayo okulwanirira Abannayuganda. Nze nvuddeyo si kulwanirira DP naye kulwanirira Abannayuganda omuli n'abanna DP. Nze wano twalina Honorable Sebamala yeesowolayo n'agamba nti agenda kubeera speaker. Nayita wano press conference ne mwendo singa ekyembi ekintu yakivaamu naye nga buli wa DP avaayo tuteekwa okumuwagira kubanga wa family. Naye oluusi ekintu woba okikola tokosa kibiina. N'olwekyo nsaba banna DP kino ekintu tekijja kutwawula kubanga bakulembeze bannaffe bano tubamanyi bulungi. Tumina records zaabwe. Vice President wange 21 nakeera ku makya ne ndaba nga akoze ogupande ng'ate kati awagira Bobi Wine. Ne twogera ku simu n'angamba nti ekyo kye kigenda okumpisaawo ne mugamba amiina ekibanga kye kikuyisaawo tujja kulabagana nga bakulangiridde. Naye olowooza Bobi Wine kweri ajja kuwagira aleke empuuga wekyagwera ng'era tawangudde. Bobi Wine yagenda n'amwogerera yamudi campaigninga. N'olwekyo wetubanga tuli mu byabufuzi tulina okwefumiitiriza naye nze kyenzikiririzaamu Mukama Katonda abalansinga ebitabo era agenda abalansinga ebitabo. Olaba n'ali mu ntebe kati agamba agenda kunnyuka byobufuzi mu myaka 5 olabira ddala nti akazito ke tutaddewo si kangu. Naye ndi musanyufu kubanga mu DP tulinamu abavubuka, tulina emiti emito, ffe kati tuli mu lugendo saawa yonna tunnyuka obukulembeze bwa DP. Naye nina essanyu nti tulina abavubuka ba UID ate bagenda bawangula mu institutions. Nakitegeddeko nti eyeesimbawo ku bwa Guild President Muteesa One Royal University yawangudde, ne munnaffe eyeesimbawo ku bwa Guild President Makerere yakola bulungi newankubadde nga olw'embeera ebaddewo teyasobola kuwangula, naye nga tumanyi nti ayina future nungi. Tukyayinawo obululu obulala mu Mobs, Mbarara University, Bishop Stewart, Kyambogo University, Busitema, Gulu University n'ewalala. Ebyo bye bimpa essuubi. N'olwekyo temunsaasira. Oluusi mbawulira nga mwogera ne mugamba nti Mao, lwaki abantu b'oyambye ate tebakulwanirira? Omanyi mulina okukozesa 10% rule. Yesu yawonya abazibe 10 naye omu yekka ye yakomawo okumwebaza. Nze ate ndi wa mukisa kubanga nsukkako 10%. Kati mukama waffe wabanga yafuna 10%, nze ndowooza ate nze ndi waggulu nnyo n'olwekyo temunsaasira. Era abavubuka ababadde baagala okukola akavuyo nga bagamba nti abo tebalinya ku kitebe, ekyo ekintu mukiveeko mubaleke, kubanga Katonda ya balansinga ebitabo n'abalonzi gye bali, kubanga koozi eno ebendera gye nsitudde ku luno esobodde okugatta Abannayuganda bonna, n'abaali banjogerera n'abaali batampagira ku luno ate bali nange. Abannayuganda bonna baali batayogera ku nsonga ya sipiika, nga n'ekya sipiika tebakimanyiiko. Ab'amagalagi, aba bodaboda, bano abatunda ebibala, abatembeeyi, bonna bagamba nti Mawa agenda atereze palamenti. Ekyo kitegeeza nti nabo bennyini akazito bakawulira tibali offside ku luno, era simanyi mbeera gye batambuliramu, naye nga nze mbasabira busabizi, era nange mbasaba mubasabire. Let's have two. You are not a journalist. I'm not going to pick you. Let me pick this one. Ekizibu kye ndaba mu Bannayuganda mwasiiwuka empisa. Tuli mu kuvuganya, tetuli balabe. Obanga oyagala kundaba ng'omulabe, awo oli offside. Nakati wenjogerera oli ye speaker wa parliament. Era akawungezi ka leero ngenda mu parliament. Era ngenda muyita Madam Speaker. Kati gwoyagala okakasa nti addala ngenda kwesimbawo nyimirire ngamba nti musiru gwe. Ebyo bye bibanyumira. Banaye mutusonyiwe. Mwandaba nga nvuganya ku bwa president, naye nga bwensanga President Museveni mugamba Your Excellency, twali kyankwanze nga tugobera amateeka g'amagye, ng'oli bw'abanga akusinga rank omukubira saluti. Era kye nakola